Alright guys, this is the last video on the U.S. presidential candidates, and this one I'll do Bernie Sanders, but I'll just start by basically going over all the ones, I guess. Um, for the Republicans, I guess the only two real ones that I would consider somewhat confident in, and I guess most confident in, are Trump. I'd pretty like about 85 or 90% confident he'd do a good job. Cruz like 60, 70. Bernie Sanders like 30, 35, maybe 40%. Other than that, all the other candidates they'd be a wash. Like, they'd be just terrible. Um, if Sanders wasn't such a hardcore socialist, I think I'd actually consider supporting him, but I think he makes a lot of good points on some things, but then again, he's a socialist, so that automatically pretty well makes him bad. But anyways, I'll get into his first point here. That's income and wealth inequality. Again, the first thing he goes over here is a chart showing how top 1% basically make the most, or the most, this is pre-tax money, so if you actually looked at a fair, like after-tax money, this chart wouldn't actually be that bad, so, um, 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 so he goes on to start by saying that demanding that wealthy and large corporations pay the quote-unquote fair share, which, number one, I don't understand how some saying that someone like a wealthy person, or the top tax bracket in the U.S. pays, I think, roughly double what the lowest one does. So to say that isn't their fair share, I don't know how you can say that, but um, I guess they still do. And the other thing about corporations too is that when you raise taxes on a corporation, number one, they're probably going to cut their jobs if they stay. Some of them are just going to outright leave. Other ones, the ones that are have their money in foreign bank accounts, those ones might just leave too. He wants to basically double the minimum wage, actually slightly more than double, which again is gonna lower or raise the unemployment rate. Um, I know Canada's already, Alberta, I think we have done it, and their unemployment rate's going up, partially because the whole oil prices too, but um, he's going to invest in roads, bridges, buildings, infrastructure type thing, which I think is good. The problem is where he's going to get that money. I have no idea, but reversing, like, this is a policy I definitely support him on, is reversing trade policies like NAFTA. I know he's against TPP, which is good. I know Trump is against TPP also. I know Rand Paul was definitely against it, which is, he was my top candidate for president before he dropped out. Um, anyways, yeah, you know that the majority of politicians are bought off when they support the TPP. Is basically what the TPP does is, well, one of the things it does. There's tons of things it does, but um, it's going to make businesses be able to outsource more of their work, which is going to make people lose jobs, which is good for the businesses because they can pay people less. But if you don't, in case you haven't heard, most politicians are bought off because someone has to fund their campaigns and stuff, which is a lot of the big businesses. So you know that there's a little bit of collusion there. But anyways, um, this is one of the big reasons why, another reason I guess why I don't really support Bernie Sanders, because he promotes this lie, the whole woman earns 78 cents for every dollar a man earns. Again, the reason for that is because women, number one, they don't work as much. Number two, they don't work as much as high paying of jobs on average. So when you when you actually get rid of those two things, it's even. Like, women earn exactly the same as men. He wants free college, which again, it's not free. You still pay for it. It's completely unfair to make people who don't have a degree or something pay for your college. Also, if you're going to go to university, go for something that you can make decent money enough to pay off, or I guess you want to hope your parents will pay for your college, but if they can't, get a job or go for something, you can get a good job. If you want to go to university for something where you're not going to be able to get a good paying job, it's unfair and I'd say actually wrong to expect other people to pay for it. What else does he want to go? Yeah, he says he's against some of these big banks, and he wants them so they're no longer too big to fail, which is another one of the short list of things I strongly agree with him on. I might have a little bit of doubt if he would actually do that in real life, but I hope he would. Again, he goes over these are basically, I guess, his major points here. Income and wealth inequality, I think he's definitely wrong on that. College tuition free, again, it's not free, you still pay for it. Completely unfair to make other people pay for it. And stupid of you to go for something where you're going to have massive debt and make a small amount of money. Getting big money out of politics, which is destroying democracy, which is, I think he actually is not that much of a hypocrite on, which is good. Creating decent paying jobs, which is something that he's not going to do. The only basically the solution to that is to raise the minimum wage, which is going to create less jobs. Living wage, is he talking about? Yeah, that's the $15 an hour minimum wage thing. I've already went over that. What's this? That's the minimum wage thing. Climate change, yeah, another reason why I don't support him. He's a big climate change. Tax the hell out of you. A fair and humane immigration policy. Which is, I don't. I don't know if it's stances. Allowing immigrants to purchase healthcare coverage. Sure, our border remains secure. I'd like to think he's going to do that, but I doubt it. Twitter. Yeah, it's basically not much in there. Fighting for women's rights. Yeah, again, that's another BS point. Racial justice, another BS point. To be honest, I think in today's society, if any race of people suffering most, it's actually white people. Basically, for the simple fact that they're constantly persecuted for doing nothing, basically. Fighting for LGBT and equality. Again, I think that's basically a feel-good point. Free healthcare, I've gone over that. It's not free. people are going to abuse it. Prices are going to skyrocket when people know that they don't have to eat healthy and stuff like that. Strengthen and expand social security and welfare. Yeah, it's fighting to lower prescription drug policies, improving the rural economy, um, reforming Wall Street. I think that's the one thing that I'd support him on. I don't know if he'd actually do it, but hopefully. War and peace, yeah, another thing I'd support him on, but he says he's for the Iran deal, which is stupid. Another stupid point you're making. Wealthy Wall Street and large corporations pay their fair share, which I've gone over that. It's BS. How he'll pay for all this. That's the big problem with Bernie Sanders, is how he's going to pay for all this free stuff he wants to give out. Basically, it's going to be a massive tax hike. Yeah, basically just massive tax hikes. Yeah, basically by everyone. Anyways, that's Bernie Sanders.